In the following of our blog tutorials in Django, we're going to complete the home.html, and here we're going to use what we wrote inside of the base.html. So first of all, what we're going to do is to write extends base.html, just like that, and also base.html should be inside of the apostrophe this way, and here we are. So the next thing we're going to do is to add the load the static. So we're going to load a static in order to load our images. Load static. And then the next thing we're going to do is to complete our blog content. So here in the next line, we're going to have the blog content. So inside of the blog content, we're going to write all of the things related to our content, to our post inside of our home.html, and the rest of what is about the navbar will be inside of the base.html that we have already written. So the first step is to create a div, and the class related to that is equal to. So here we're going to add the class container. So we use margin top and margin bottom. So we need to assign a number to these two. So 5 and 3 are what we need here. So 5 and 3. We're going to have for post in posts inside of here for post in posts, and also we have to consider percent at the beginning and at the end. So we're going to loop through the post and publish all of them on the main page. So create a card for each one of the blocks that we've written inside of the post data models of our database, and we're going to print them all on the main page or our home page. So now we're going to add 3 other divs here. So the first one is div class row. The other one is div, so it's a tag, div class, this one for the margins and the column. So column 8 and margin bottom 4. And then the next div is for our card, which is about the header of our card class. And here we're going to add the card header, and the text should be in the center, so text center. So let's close this one too. And now we're going to add the name of the author or the writer. So now we're going to write writer. So the writer will be the post dot author. So this is related to our models.py inside of our blog app. So if you can remember, we had the post class, and then we had the author, the writer of our blog, which is going to be taken from the users list. So let's get back to our home.html and continue. So this is related to the header of our card, which is going to show some part of one of the blocks, and this is going to be inside of a for loop, meaning that if we have multiple blocks, then we'll have multiple cards, and as a result multiple writers. So now after this div tag, we're going to add another div, and in this one I'm going to add class, and here we're going to have card, also text center, and we want the card to have shadow. Next, we're going to add the image on top of the card. So here what we're going to do is to add img tag, and its source is in the media folder, and then it's going to be the name of the image. So the post, again, we're going to use the post model. So post.image. So for another time, let's look at our models.py. And here we have image, as you can see, inside of the image field, where we're going to upload it to media folder, which we're going to create it. But first, now let's complete here. Next, we're going to write the class equals to card, and then card, so img top. So the image would be in the top of the page. So actually here we have another dash, and there we go. So now then we have alt, which is necessary for all of the photos. So I'm gonna call this photo. You can write anything, and then we should determine either the height or the width, because we're going to have to determine this. So I'm gonna consider 300 px, and there we go. So this is it for our image tag. So the next thing we're going to do is to create, so after this div related to our image, we're going to have another div for another part of our blog inside of the list. So this div we're going to give the class related to, and this is related to, after the image we're going to have the title of our blog. So first off, card body, and let's close the tag, and right over here we're going to add the title, the body of the text, and then two buttons for reading more and or deleting the page. So the first one is our title, so I'm gonna consider either H4 or H5. H5 seems better, so we're going to use again one of our models. So post.title, post.title, and next one is p tag for the body of the code. So for this one we're going to write post dot, and let's look at take a look at our models, and here we should find the text, something about the text. So this is the body, so here it's post.body, and here, because we don't want the body of the text to be completely in the card, because it's going to be a very long one, we want to truncate or make it shorter. So here we use truncate characters or chars here, and then we're going to, for example, keep, for example, 200 of our text. So we keep that, and so let's save this up to this part. Also notice that we need to add the class card title, and also here for this one another class for card body. Let's save this. So this is actually the card text, not body, so let me fix this. And then what we want is the a tag. So here we're going to actually refer to reading more, so we're going to create another link for reading more about the text, a complete text, not the truncated one. So here we use this log of the post, right? So used post.slog, which is the URL for the post, that specific post. So we have a lot of posts, each one of them has a specific URL, and the slug is that URL that we're looking for. So we want to set this as a class, so as a button. So the class will be button and primary button, because this is related to the button that we want to read more. Now we can close the tag, and here we can write read more. So read more, and now I'm gonna put this in the next line and add something else, because we're going to set another button next to read more, and we're going to add the delete button. But this delete button is only activated for the users, not the non-users viewers. So here I'm gonna add another, actually before I want to add the A tag, I want to check if the user is authenticated. So if user dot authenticated, and because we haven't defined the authentication or login system, we can write is super user. So is super user, but we have defined the super user, right? So if that is true, then we're going to set a link, another A tag, and here we're going to delete the post, add the delete button. Also, let's add this to the next line, because it might get a bit complicated. And also don't forget about the persons at the beginning and at the end. So also don't forget to end the if here. So here we have end if. So right over here we have the A tag, and so we should give it href, and this is equals to delete. So we're going to define a URL for deleting the blog post. Delete blog post, and then we're going to use the slug of the blog. So post dot slug, so delete blog post, and then slash post slug, which is the URL for that specific blog. So now we're going to use the class for this, and just the same as read more, we're going to add the button, and this button we're going to set this to red, or call this danger button, because you're deleting the post, right? So I'm gonna also close this tag, and here we are. So I'm gonna write delete post. Also don't forget to add the MX4 for margin between the right and left, between the two buttons, and there we go. So we have also completed this one, so we can now get outside of all we have created. But before I want to end this, I want to also add another div tag for the date of creation of the post. So this is going to be a small tag under the each one of the blog posts. So div tag right here, and what I'm going to do is to add a class for this, and this is card footer. So in the next line, I'm going to add the small tag, small, and then class equals to, so the class text muted, and then I'm going to close this, and in between I'm going to write the date of creation, which in our models was post dot created date. So let's refer to our models.py, and So we had created date over here, as you can see, and there we go. So we need to add, we need to end two other blocks. So we had this if user, if the user is super user, and also for post in posts, right over here, we need to end for, and also end the block related to blog content. And so that's it. So let me find where we were. Oh, after one of the divs. So here we should also add that. So I'm gonna write it over here. So and if, and actually for, and we need to present at the beginning and at the end. Also, at the end of this, we should close the block actually. So block from the templates. So and block. There we go. So I think we're done with the home.html. So one thing to add here is we should get this div tag, close div tag related to card, the main body of the card, text, center, and shadow. I shouldn't close this div tag right over here, so I'm gonna cut this and I'm gonna paste this here. So it should be over here. So let's save this. And something else, for a better understanding of what we've done, I'm going to also, or I can, okay, press space 2 times. Also for the closing of this. So this is going to wrap around the cards, the card features, so also the card footer, and here we are. And for this div, it's better to be copied and paste before the end for, so right over here, and there we go. So we have everything prepared. So in the next video, we're going to complete the urls.py and the settings.py, and then we're going to see how we can see the blog that we've added to the admin panel. So that's it for this part of the video, and in the next one, we're going to continue.